10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Good evening, Wrestle Talk Podcast family, and welcome to episode 509. We have another great episode online for you here tonight. Can't wait to get into it. I tell you, we've already chatted with our guest. He's already made an appearance here tonight, so, looking forward to talking with him. The one and only Samoan Nightmare, Sale Taylor, is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. So it is just going to be an awesome, awesome interview. And already got people checking in. AJ Wallace checking in. Shout out to you, AJ. We got David Owen checking in. What's up, David? Great to see you, the sick one there from the FWWC. And, if you know about the FWWC, you know. So, great to see him in the house tonight. We have all kinds of people going to be checking in tonight, I'm sure, and cannot wait just to get into things. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here alone. Could not do this by myself. So, let me get my broadcast colleague in here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Gabriel Arsin, ladies and gentlemen. The young lion with the old soul is in the house.
What it do, what it be, Wrestle Talk Podcast family. Your boy is here. Rocking the AJ Francis merch. As always, love this man. Hardcore Haas. It's been forever, man. I know we were just chatting in the back, but dude, come on. I feel a little more prepped than last time. Full transparency. I think we really hit the ground running with this show this time around. Got an amazing guest lined up, got all of our high spots questions in. And we're coming in with a bit of a kind of a refresh, so to speak. It's been a while since me and you have done the show together. And I got a lot of questions to talk about in the world of professional wrestling. Lots happened in the world of professional wrestling in the past couple of days. And David Owen, it's always good to see you, man. I'm always happy to have you in the comment section. You're muted, bud.
It's this microphone I'm using. It's got a little button that if you hit it, it mutes it. And so I think I accidentally hit it. But, there's definitely so much going on in the world of wrestling right now, I tell you, and just can't wait to get into it all. It's going to be just so much to talk about. And, between everything we've got to talk about and our great guest that's going to be here tonight, it's just going to be another great show, I tell you. And, we got Susie Haas checking in. So, be sure to drop us comments, drop us likes, share this broadcast.
You can find us everywhere, folks. We're on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. And never forget, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. If you got any, opinions, you want to hear it, let us hear them. Please tweet them out. Hit us up. We're always looking for people to chat with, even if you hate our opinions. All right.
But, before we go too much further, not only our Wrestle Talk family, we would not be here without our great and wonderful sponsors. So we definitely need to shout out those great sponsors that we've got. And
promotional consideration paid for by the following. Promotional.
So we've got the one and only Retro Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have them on board. Painter's Dream Production. That's the one and only Big Daddy P, ladies and gentlemen, who will be coming in here in a little bit, giving us little snippets of truth. The Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame, I-70 Sports Media, Jeremy Karp and the guys over there, they absolutely kill it each and every week. Be sure to drop them a like, check them out. Little Popeye's Designs, where you can get your very own Wrestle Talk Podcast tumbler, just $20, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have one and want one, be sure to hit one of us up. Let us know. We'll be more than happy to hook you up with it. Like I say, just $20. Extra $5, you get your name on it. Plus it's going to be a little shipping and handling in there. So, but we get you all set up. Don't worry. And it's not outrageous. They are absolutely quality tumblers. And then, as we mentioned before, the one and only the FWWC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Fantasy Worldwide chapter, which, Gabe, myself, we're both members, and it's a great time over there. And a lot of people say, fantasy wrestling, really? Well, we are as close as you can get to actually having a match and doing what these guys do without actually stepping in the ring. We shoot promos and we just have a good time going back and forth at each other. We actually do have matches. We use some of the bigger corporations. We use them and make picks and go back and forth. And the person who gets the most points out of that, they're the ones that win the match. And we also role play our matches on Facebook, Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter. Be sure to check it out. So we have a great time. You want to find out any more, be sure to hit up myself, hit up Gabe, hit up the page, the admin, Dewan, and we'll be glad to talk to you about it. Shout out to Assad.
Competition.
Definitely. And, shout out to Assad checking in, and hopefully will not be interrupted by Travis Cook tonight. And Stephen E., Lucky P, it is what it is. All are welcome here. We don't discriminate against anybody. Shout out to Luke McCarron, the voice of WDWA Wrestling, in the house tonight. Fed, we're going to get that going again. I'm going to have a card here shortly. I promise. I know I said that once before. I actually came down with COVID. Kind of put me behind, but I'm making it. I'm getting there. Shout out to Don McGuire. Always a wonderful show. Thank you, Don. We really appreciate all your support. So
wouldn't be as wonderful without y'all coming in the comment section. We love to see it.
And when it comes to the FWWC, Susie says she's been a champ for almost a year. And, how long have you held yours, Gabe?
I'm coming into about 200 days now, I want to say. It's still here. But it's just, I'm just waiting for my opportunity. I definitely have something planned for a certain somebody that I will be seeing come Universe Mania. But I like to separate business and pleasure. So I like to take care of everything that's going on here in the Wrestle Talk podcast tonight. But as far as I think,
I've held mine almost 2 years.
I think we need a little bit of a counter. Yeah, you got somebody gunning for you this time around, though.
Yeah, I've already beat him once, so he needs to prove himself before he gets to us.
Maybe, but look, Jason Curtis is the man to do it. All right, he's been on this show before, and we know what he's made out of.
So, all right, well, we love going through all these comments, and we could sit here and chat with you guys all night long, but we have got to get to our next thing here. As always, we absolutely love here to pay homage to the best damn country around. And so if you would remove your caps, place your hands over your heart for the playing of the national anthem.
It's finally over, folks.
Brings a tear to your eye or blood to your ears every single time.
And if you feel foaming at the mouth, you might have to contact your doctor.
Yeah. I tell you, though, our comment section just absolutely goes nuts when that starts playing. Now, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, but we definitely want to thank each and every one of you for being here. So it's great to have y'all here, but we also have someone else that's going to join us here. We try to have him each and every episode. He has been a mainstay here for a while. He is also one of our sponsors. So, it's great to have him. So let's get him in here for our snippets of truth. He is the one and only Big Daddy P.
Having a little trouble reading it, but Big Daddy P.
What does it say?
We honestly can't see it when you're back that far. It's little, and when you put it up towards the screen,
Close, it kind of blurs. Yeah.
But you'll have to tell us.
It says love one another. 13 times, love one another. If God thought that loving one another was important, to mention it 13 times, don't you think we should give it the same attention?
Absolutely.
Man, we need love. Love is very important. Can't have a world without love.
This country can use love much more than ever before, I tell you.
It's getting better. Wrestling's getting better. Again, there's some changes that have to take place that are going to be a little bit painful, but it'll be very good once it's done. I'd say by April, we should start really starting to see things come down, and it'll happen. Just a matter of time. Wrestling tickets haven't gone up. Of course, WrestleMania has by like a lot. Holy, I don't know if I'll ever go to WrestleMania again. It's
the
so
Super Bowl came down. They said this. They said the tickets to this Super Bowl, even though they were expensive, they were one of the cheapest in years.
Mm.
So that came down.
Hey, you guys doing all right?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's great to see you, Big Daddy. It's been a while since I've gotten to chat with you. You know, you, me, and Gabe been here. It's been a while, so it
It
is great
has,
to
and
be here.
God's got a funny set of timing. He knows he has just been by his grace, he has been working me to death, which is good because I own my own business, so I need work. At the same time, I just spent yesterday celebrating my wife's birthday, and we had such an awesome time. And she is just such a blessing, and I'm so thankful that I get to enjoy her each and every day. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can't. I'm not sure what's worse, that or was it Fergie? Fergie's got one too that you can.
I know the one you're talking about too. It's
Dude, that
pretty
one.
rough.
The thing is, if you put them side by side, and you forget about one being Roxanne and one being Fergie, the fact remains is both of them did it for the purposes of entertainment, knowing that they were going to get attention. So, but it's great to see you guys. I'm thankful that Wrestle Talk is cranking. There's a lot of wonderful things going on in the wrestling industry. I love all this crossover. I just saw Moose on NXT. I'm like, yes, coolest guy, man. What a cool guy. Just totally down to earth. Got 2 wrestling shows coming up. It's been a while since COVID. I mean, it's been a while. But we got 2 shows coming up. I'm excited about that. We wanted to get Joe Hendry, but man, what he's charging is insane. So I don't believe.
I have actually gotten.
I knew there was a reason why I didn't believe. Now I know what it is. He's charging legend prices. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So, Joe, if you happen to see this, you got to bring the price down, man. You can't take what WWE or TNA is going to pay you and then, divide it by 12 months and figure out what. It doesn't work that way. I mean, if I told you guys the number, what if I told you it was over $5,000 plus airfare?
I believe you, but
TNA
it makes me wonder how much.
$5,000? I don't think so. So anyway, we're not going to have Joe Hendry because there's just but actually also too, it's not really a scheduling conflict, but he's doing a lot of traveling, so he would have to come back really early from what he's doing, and I just think that you don't want to put somebody out, especially even for that kind of money. You know what I mean? But again, the wrestling business is incredible. Things are happening all across the board. And I don't think it's never been this good. It hasn't throughout history. I don't care if there was they used to get so excited about the arenas being filled. Well, let me tell you, they're filling them now. I mean, man, the numbers are just astonishing. And the shows are all the way across the board. We got a lot of great wrestlers, but again, this is all about pro wrestling. It's all about love. Very important. Got to love one another, even the people who you don't want to love, like promoters. I'm going to plug Action Sports Wrestling because I can. Action Sports Wrestling. So glad to be back again. It was kind of a quiet area there, but again, there wasn't a lot of money either. So now that we've had time to save up, it's much easier.
So, Big Daddy, we always love to talk wrestling, but at the same time, one thing that keeps us going here is the man upstairs. So before we get into our high spots and get into talking too much wrestling, how about you lay a snippets on us?
Well, let's start with the fact that he ain't upstairs. He's in me. He's omnipresent. Let's start there. Thank you for that. Reminding me about the traditions of men. Sometimes we put labels and limits on God. And let me tell you, I'll be the first one. I limited God. I remember standing in a church auditorium that held about 5,000 people. And I remember standing behind that pulpit and thinking, man, if I can help 5,000 people, how awesome would that be? And now I average over 100,000 on Facebook in the last 20 days. So I share that information because I want you to know that even though the world's gone crazy for many people, God does not change. He's still very much in control. And I wanted to share with you because, look, I didn't write it, okay? John 13:34, 13:35, 15:12, 15:17, Romans 12:10, 1 Thessalonians 3:12, 1 Peter 1:22, 1 John 3:11, 3:23, 4:7, 4:11, 4:12, 2 John 5. They all say three words: love one another. So just because some of us are 6'4", some of us because of whatever reasons are 4'8", whether if we're white, black, orange, whatever color we are, however we see ourselves, the one thing remains the same, and that is love. We have got to love one another, even in our differences, even if we don't agree. Not everybody likes the same food. Not everybody likes the same clothes. Not everybody likes the same TV shows. There are some people that don't like WWE. There are people that don't like AEW. But you know something? One thing stands clear, and that is we have got to continue to love one another, because in the end, we have hope. Because one of two things are going to happen. You're going to get through this segment, or we're going to be face to face with him. Either way, we win. So let's keep loving one another. Let's keep encouraging one another. A hug does more than you know. A word of encouragement does more than you know. Sometimes just being there and not being able to say a word, but just being there matters. So don't lose hope. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Remember, if you ever find yourself saying you're using the word worry, like I'm worried about something or I'm afraid of something, as I've said in previous snippets of truth, fear is okay, but living in it is not. Same goes with many other descriptors of what we can do to show through action to God that we don't trust him. We have to trust him. We have to know not only that he has a plan, but the plan is perfect. Painless? No, because pain is usually where we learn some of our greatest lessons. If you ask any professional wrestler who's been wrestling more than at least a year, he will tell you that some of his greatest things that he learned about the business was when he was in pain. So even if you go to a gym and you work out, there's pain. So in this world, we have pain, but we also have pleasure. And that pleasure not just only happens to be about being content with what we have, but how about all the things we don't have, things that we're striving for? You know, you can be content, but you still have to strive for something. So if the Lord is telling you to do something, do it. Even if man doesn't understand, especially even those closest to you, just do it. Matter of fact, a good example is Babe Ruth, most home runs. He also had the most strikeouts. The point is he swung his bat. So swing away with a smile, because a lot of people are watching each and every one of us. You know, there are a lot of people who won't even pick up the Bible. They don't know who Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is. But you know you're the fifth gospel and people read you every day? They might not read Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but they'll read you. Question is, what are they reading? So I want to encourage you today. The snippet of truth today is to love one another. Please love one another, even if you disagree with them. You just might learn something. I think that's the challenge with the world today, Jamie, is that people are just not teachable. We have got to remain teachable. We can't think we know it all. We can be confident in what we know and share what we know. But the question is if you're talking about it for you to increase, that's one thing. But if you do it for someone else to increase and you decrease, man, that gives God the glory, and he'll bless you for it. He's not a trade by God barter. He's not going to, if you give him 10, he gives you 1,000. He's not a genie that you can rub him and tell him everything that you want. He's God. He's your creator. And if you're hearing my voice right now, that means you're alive. That means you have a chance to love somebody. So the next person, I challenge everyone that's watching, for the next person that comes in front of you, say, I love you. Even if you don't know them, just say it. Say, I love you. And they might think you're crazy, and that's okay. But I promise you, it'll get their attention. If you get a chance, go watch the movie Patch Adams with Robin Williams. That'll encourage you. It's all about loving one another. And that is my snippet of truth for the Wrestle Talk Podcast, February 18th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Oh, thank you for that snippet of truth, Perry, and allow me to say we love you. So,
I love you guys too. You are the first ones we're seeing. And Susie and everybody else that's watching, man, just keep doing it, baby. Keep loving. Because it said, the Bible says love covers a multitude of sins. Wait, I'm stubborn as a mule. Man, he made you stubborn. Remember, he could make an ass talk. That's biblical. So
I knew it was coming too.
It's okay if you're stubborn. There's nothing. He made us that way. Usually the ones that are the most bold are the most stubborn. But we didn't always be this way. Love you, Susie. Thank you for your prayers and for your encouragement. And all of you that join the Wrestle Talk podcast, we know this is not normal. We know that if you just happen to join us, you're all jacked up right now. You didn't expect any of that. And that's okay. They're going to go back to wrestling and they're going to go back to the show. But this moment kind of has been sanctified and set apart to encourage. And I do want to apologize for not being available. If I could clone myself, well, Mrs. Hartman would be quite happy.
are
But
you sure
I
about
cannot.
that?
So since I cannot clone myself, you got one of me, and I love you and I appreciate you. And I got time to pray, right?
Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Especially
go
those
ahead.
who are injured.
The
The ones who are injured because they can't work, they don't get paid.
Yeah, we haven't seen any prayer requests come in, you know, other than Renee asking to pray for him since he's stubborn as a mule. But you know,
For sure.
God always knows what's on somebody's heart. So they may not have dropped it to us, but he still knows. So,
And he's very present. We get this thing like he goes away from us. The Bible says, and David said it, where can I go? Where can my spirit go where he can't be? He's everywhere. So we have this perception, like you said, the man upstairs, right? He's right with us. The only reason why we're able to breathe is because he gives us air. And I do believe, because the Bible does say, that we are surrounded by protectors, by angels, each and every one of us. I can't imagine what my guardian angels look like now. They got to be beaten up and bruised and wings all jacked, and, you know, because it's just been a very wild time, but we have to be content. We have to be content with the present. Ready to pray?
Go ahead and pray for us, and then maybe we can hit a snippet of truth or two.
Well, I think I just nailed one, but I could be. Look,
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm in a hot spot.
I've been known to teach an hour and 45 minutes, and not even and that was just like a week and a half ago. So I mean, I could be here all night, but it ain't about any of that. This is all about the Wrestle Talk podcast. But there are people, you're right, who do watch because they wait for this segment, because they know, here we go. See, this is exactly why we do this. See? Yep. Okay. For sure. Wow. You see, again, it reminds me very quickly of the starfish story, of the guy who was looking down on the beach and he could see another guy throwing things in the water. And as he climbed down, he noticed that there were starfish washing up. And they were dying because they need to be in the water. And he was trying to throw them in to save them. And the guy says, you can't save these thousands. He said, nope. He bent down, picked up one and said, but I just saved that one. If tonight was all about AJ, just AJ, we succeeded. Never forget that. It isn't about the numbers in as much as it's about the growth in the numbers. Yeah, and all these plane crashes are all man-made. This is not a coincidence, by the way, that it just so happens that these accidents are existing at this time. I mean, we have accidents, but not so many. Just know that God is in control, okay? I know there's evil in the world. Can't get around it. But I can assure you one thing. Even with the plane crashes, the fires, the weather, the tornadoes, all that stuff, maybe, just maybe, crime will go down. If just crime would go down all across this country, it'd be a much better place. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your goodness and grace. We thank you for this time that you've allotted for us to bring petitions to you. You saw all the requests, you know all of the needs, you have all of the facts. But you tell us, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So we're here right now, coming to you with these requests. Father, we know that you're faithful. We know that what you've already done in the past, we give thanks for. We also thank you for today, the fact that you brought us here. There are people who thought that they were going to go to work this morning, and now they're face to face with you. But those that can hear my voice, Lord, we know that you're very much alive and that you're here. And we're thankful that we can come before you with these requests, especially those that are injured, who can't work, who love the wrestling business. They have chosen to answer the call. Father, we know that you call each and every person, whether it's pro wrestling, whether it's the medical field, whether if it's acting, no matter what it is, you open every door that needs to be open, and we ask that you close every door that needs to be closed, that we would obey you, that we would trust you, that we would love one another, that we would love one another, that we would love one another. 13 times, and I'm going to find more, that you called us to love one another. So I thank you that we can call upon you, knowing that you're hearing us right now. We're not getting a busy signal, a voicemail, nothing. You're hearing and you're listening and you're ready to act. Matter of fact, you've already acted. In eternity past, you know the future already. You know when this is all going to come out. So we're just so thankful with an attitude of gratitude. We give you basketfuls of thanksgiving for all that you continue to do. And we love you. And we ask these things in no other name under heaven, that we can receive eternal life through the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, through the power of the Holy Spirit, that we can pray, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Now, Big Daddy, you got time to hit a high spot or two with us real quick?
Let's go. I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead.
I hope it doesn't mention Orange Cassidy or
or Joe Hendry.
Just say
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like clear chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop, and non-stop like a runner speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops, like a clock flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast, now they know we about to start the show.
Here we go.
Shout out to Jimmy Harris checking in. Always great to see Jimmy in the gallery there. But
What's up?
All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get that randomizer fired up and see what it's going to pull up
Crank
tonight.
it. Here we go.
I have seen that there are several great topics in here, so let's see what we got. And randomizer's off sequence.
There we go.
Yeah, I was
So-
wondering there. I'm like, I didn't know that. Hey, bro, that he's in the
It would have been.
chamber.
This is news to me as the Riddle fan in the Wrestle Talk podcast.
I can barely remember his name. That's bad.
So, Haas, did you want to take this one or do you want me?
All right. Well, first question: who do you see coming out on top in both elimination chamber matches? So, you want to throw the. There we go.
So here are our lovely combatants set to square up here in the elimination chamber this year.
So
So
Big
we
Daddy,
have.
what?
I was just going to go through the rundown real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins for the men's elimination chamber. And in the women's, we have Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, and Roxanne Perez.
All right, Big Daddy, why don't you start us off? Who do you see coming out on top?
I'm going to start with the women's first, and I'll say Roxanne Perez.
Why do you think that?
Because
and let me ask, who do you think she'll go against?
Alexa Bliss is too soon. She just came back. Tired of Bayley. I want her to start hugging people again. Because Bianca Belair has been tagging for as long as she has. And I know Liv Morgan has already had it. So yeah, I'm going with Perez. The men's is hard because somebody made a promise that he was going to win and go to WrestleMania. The problem is I don't know if that's best for business. It could be best for John Cena, and I get it. But I think that part of Punk's contract is a WrestleMania appearance. That's just my guess. So Perez and Punk, the two P's.
Interesting choice. Haas, did you want to take yours or you want me to cover it next?
Why don't you go ahead and throw yours out there? Let's see who you're going with here.
All righty. With the women's, I'm going to start with the women's just because I have a lot to say about the men's match, which is not to undercut anybody in the women's match. I'm just kind of go down the competitors here. I'm honestly leaning with Perry on this because Roxanne, I mean, like, she's the only one who hasn't really had an opportunity here, at least like in a major way, especially for a Mania. Bayley, like, yeah, I mean, she's been done before, and that's not to undercut her in any way. I mean, we all know Tiffy's going to be defending against Charlotte, right? Like, is that fair to assume?
Yeah.
And we're all thrilled about that, I'm sure. But
I can't figure out if she's still not injured, though, Charlotte. I'm not convinced she's not.
I don't want to wish injury upon.
I think she had to come back because to get the storyline into WrestleMania, she had to come back whether she was ready or not. I don't think she's ready, but
yikes. I mean, I don't want to wish injury upon anybody, but if this means we get somebody else, then hope you a speedy recovery. That's all. Alexa Bliss, yeah, I'm kind of with Perry on this because it's a little too soon. You know, I mean, like, we could see something in the upcoming weeks because of the Wyatt 6, but I don't know. It just feels a little like out of nowhere. And then, I mean, do you have to wonder about what's going to happen afterwards. So do we book Alexa to go the whole way and then beat her for the title at Mania and then be the figurehead or the mouthpiece of the Wyatt 6? I don't know that you do that, or at least you don't do it now. I feel like it's a little too close to the ball dropping towards Mania to be able to like take that risk.
Didn't she look a little stiff?
A little. I'm kind of with you on that.
I don't remember her being that stiff. I don't
either.
She's a mom now, man. So everything has changed. I mean, your whole perception of life has changed. I just think she's still a little tight.
And then, see, I personally wouldn't mind seeing Bianca. but the tag title makes that difficult, only because I don't want to leave the tag titles off of Mania as well, especially because it's a 2-night event, and I don't need them on the pre-show or just completely leading somebody off of the show to not get a payday. Personally, I think Bianca versus Rhea is there. I think it's a good match. I don't think they've actually squared up before, and I would like to see that kind of dynamic and see where it goes. Liv, it just seems like it's not going to happen. Like, I don't, because like, where do you go with the story? I mean, like, is she still with Dom? Like, can somebody refresh my memory if she's still with him?
She is.
So do we do that all over again and waste everybody's time and just kind of have that transition that we had between the two, like, not matter? Do we play into the fact that she lost and that maybe she's trying to outsmart Rhea this time around? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I feel like it's just there to confuse us. So ultimately, I mean, I'm going to go with Bianca, but it's a very reluctant one just because of the whole tag title situation. Only because that's the match I want to see, but Roxanne is a close second. Now, I'm going to try to run through the men's match as quickly as possible because I'm trying to get to the next question, and I'm not trying to keep you waiting here forever, John Haas. So this one is tricky. This is a stacked elimination chamber when you want to talk about it. We got John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. Say what you want. Logan Paul is there, and I guarantee you he's going to get some of the biggest boos that night. I promise you. Just because the thought of this man main eventing WrestleMania is going to make people sick to their stomach, and nobody wants to boo anything harder than that. And Seth Rollins.
Which makes him an excellent heel.
Exactly. Especially because it's the kind of heel where you're going to see him on social media, so you can't get rid of him.
Correct.
And it's like, I have my 2 cents about Logan Paul, but when you can get people to hate you, especially in the wrestling business, and you can do half the shit that this dude can do in the ring, they're going to pay you. It's torn between Cena and Punk for me. And it's only because I have to ask if we're going to get the payoff for the War Chamber. I have to wonder if they're going to snub Punk just to give it to Cena, because I feel like a lot of people, especially after the Rumble, want to see Cena get that last opportunity at Mania, especially if it's against Cody, because let's be honest, that's a money match. I don't care who you are. That's a big match right there in and of itself. But to throw that extra wrinkle in there, to have him snub Punk and to call back to this huge thing that a lot of people have been speculating on what they think it could be, and potentially weasel his way into the main event for a triple threat match to give himself that opportunity. Am I speculating a little too hard here? Yes, but that's what wrestling is for. So you got me in a box here between two choices that I would love to see. I think it's got to go to Cena, though. I think we're going to see the opportunity where they set up the history that Cena has with the Elimination Chamber, running the gauntlet. Will he be able to do it this late into his career for his final attempt to be able to get that opportunity at Mania? Or is Punk going to snub him just for that little bit of doubt in everybody's mind? But I think Cena is the one to go. Anyways, I've taken way too much time right here now. Haas,
but don't forget there's 2 nights too.
That is true.
So even if Cody gives up the belt to Cena the first night, John Cena, anything can happen night 2. So, yeah, I mean, we know it's not Gunther. So, I mean, that story's crystal clear. But again, we don't know. Every time we think we got him figured out, they do something to shake it up. And they're not done. I mean, we still have, how many more pay-per-views till WrestleMania?
I think it's just the one, but like that's still a lot of weeks of television, and
no, but Elimination Chamber's March 1st, right?
I believe so. Here, I can check, but as far as I remember, I think that's the last one.
March 1st, and Mania is in April,
at the end of April.
I think that's it.
Okay,
but honestly, on the women's match, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Because, like you say, Liv Morgan, been there, done that, got the T-shirt, gave it back. How many times do you want to write?
I think she's amazing, though. I got to tell you, man.
I agree,
but she needs a break. She's been working like I don't know how many, like 17, 18 months straight. She needs a break just to give her a break. So, and I think that's what once WrestleMania is over, because again, I don't think she's going, so she's going to get her break. Much needed.
Bianca, I don't look for her to be in a title match other than the tag titles. She's going to have to defend them. Do they really want her doing double duty? It's been done before. Don't get me wrong. It's been done before, and I'm sure in the future it'll be done again somewhere. But
what's going to happen when Jade Cargill comes back?
Well, and I halfway expect when Jade comes back, Bianca's going to be the one that took her out. I really do. So it wouldn't surprise me if Jade doesn't.
So they're going to turn her heel. Bianca Belair's going to go heel. Hey, that's not a bad move there.
I think it's about time.
I totally expect that. I honestly do.
Because then they'll have to go against Bianca will have to go after Glow. So that's even a match that
Naomi.
Thank you. So they're together now. So it's like, that could break up at any moment, which turns the whole again. They do this to us every year. They get us to talk about it, right? That's
although it wouldn't surprise me if Jade doesn't come back during the title defense and be what causes them to lose the title, and then that's how it'll be revealed that she's the one that took her out, But, Susie thinks either Becky Lynch comes back or Cargill and Liv loses. I do believe Liv loses, but I don't think it's because of Cargill. I believe Bianca more would lose because of Cargill. I really do. And then, Alexa Bliss, she's got a lot of fanfare right now because she came back. So I could see them kind of riding that fanfare, but I don't look for them to give her a championship match already. And
what if
Bayley,
what if the only reason why Alexa Bliss comes back is to break up the Wyatt Six?
See, there's an interesting.
And she was Bray's. It was just Bray and her for a long time, for a while there. And now that he's gone, maybe she gets a power trip, and the spirit of Bray Wyatt comes into her, and there's a lot of room for her now. So,
although I have another interesting thought on the Wyatt Six, and I'm going to hold that for another question because there's another question that hopefully will come up eventually that I think the Wyatt Six could almost play into, but we'll see what happens. Then Bayley, she's been there. She's held the title. She's had title shots. I don't look for her to be the one to go. And so, you're left with Roxanne. And I think she would be a good one to be in the title match. I really do. I
definitely think she's earned it at this point. I feel like in terms of like
Perez versus
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's a good match.
Well, and just to throw this out there, even if we know the result, like even if we have this idea that like maybe Roxanne isn't going to win this match, that doesn't mean it's not going to be a good match. And the best kind of wrestling, in my opinion, is even if you know the result, the people involved make you believe something else.
One
of my favorite.
What's her nickname? The Prodigy. If she goes to WrestleMania, she's winning. That's my prediction. Even with, because again, she'll put Roxanne over.
And I'm not going to go through everybody on the men's just because I just caught something in the back room that I'm going to bring up here in a second. But just real quick on the men's, I would say it's either going to be Punk or it's going to be John Cena. And if it's Punk, I think the favor from Paul Heyman comes into play. But, that's just my thought. John Cena, just because it's his retirement and, are they really going to let him go out not being in the main event? So,
and where's The Rock? I mean, he could really. All they need is footage of The Rock and Ric Flair talking. Oh, it's over.
But,
Rock can interfere and take it away from John Cena.
But
which would force him to come back.
I don't have a breaking news sounder tonight. Unfortunately, we got flagged last week on that. I think I have found a new one, but I haven't gotten a chance to load it yet. But, you were talking about Moose a little bit ago there, Big Daddy. Renee just put some breaking news in the back from WWE. Moose is NXT.
I thought I broke that earlier. Didn't I mention that earlier? When you go back and see, you'll see, yeah, because I noticed that too. Yeah.
I knew you were talking about him earlier, but I didn't catch
crossover, man. It's TNA and WWE are going both ways.
Though. This is, I don't know if you're
familiar and NXT now. It's crazy.
This man can go in the ring, and this is definitely a big get for WWE, especially NXT. So, Obafemi, you better look out, man. I think we got somebody else coming for that championship.
Again, the future looks good, man. What do you guys think about that new show, by the way? I haven't really watched it.
Well, I believe we have something on that one in the randomizer.
Imagine that.
Is that the show you're talking about?
Nope.
No,
the new one on A&E, the where they're doing the training with Booker T, Undertaker, Mickey James, and Bubba.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. I
haven't watched. I've just seen little clips here and there.
I honestly forgot about that.
I mean, we've got on top of Evolve and the WWE ID, they just presented 2 belts today. Triple H showed 2 belts for the WWE ID. So yeah, I told you, man, it's incredible what all the wrestling. We have more footage to watch. It's hard keeping track of what's on what now. I mean, it really is. I hope next year they settle all this and we can just go to one channel.
We got to streamline it, definitely.
It's hard, man. I've got DVRs for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different shows. It's like
I'm having to make different accounts for different streaming services for the outside of WWE bubble.
Yeah,
like I have. There we go. Because I have to borrow my buddy Cordell's New Japan World account. I got to make a Dragon Gate and Pro Wrestling Noah account. There's such a surplus of wrestling. It's just like I'm trying to juggle it all.
Well, you look at places other than the United States, and WWE is already all Netflix. So the U.S. is the only place that hasn't happened yet. And once their thing is up, I think you'll be seeing WWE on Netflix as well.
But they wanted to make sure that they had something on CW to make sure there wasn't a hole that anybody else could fill. So that's why they're doing what they're doing. Instead of going deep, they're going wide now.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to have to check that one out. So Susie's question about Cena, I'm kind of confused on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he wins the world title, he breaks Ric Flair's record.
Oh, Cody's got the undisputed.
So
Gunther's got the world championship.
Right. So, and he keeps saying, I'm gonna be the world champion, but I didn't think he was going for world champion if he wins Elimination Chamber. So
That
he
means
keeps,
then, though, think about that. That means that in order for that to happen, Gunther's got to be night one. And there's some kind of interference that would have to take place for that to happen. Otherwise, I could. You totally. I didn't even think about that. Good job, Susie.
the interference there again, that could come in the form of a favor with CM Punk somehow.
Could. It's possible.
But that we can theorize on that all night. But yeah, it's so he keeps talking about breaking the record, but if he wins this, I thought he was going against Cody. But then again, everybody thought that last year that Cody was gonna go against
Rollins.
just go. Yeah, Rollins. I don't know why that just went right out of my head, but yeah, everybody thought
because everybody's drawing
against,
a blank about who had the belt before Gunther.
Yeah, everybody thought he was going against Rollins, and then last minute it was swerved to going against Tribal Chief. So you never know what's going to happen. They could be swerving us again. Maybe Jay is going to pick.
Seems to be WWE's specialty.
You never know. So, all right, let's go ahead and hit that randomizer again. You got time for one more, Big Daddy?
I do, and I just noticed Ricky Starks is on NXT also, which I saw last week. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he's here. Now he can just let it out. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, there's questions about that in here too. So, so I tell you what, we'll let the question come up first before the overlay this time. Let's see how that works out. Wow, what do you know?
What are the odds?
Ricky Starks has landed in NXT. How far do you think his run will go? All right, who wants to start this one?
I kind of want to take the lead on this one, only because I got a little bit to say, but also I kind of want to save Big Daddy's answer for the end. I want to see what he thinks towards when me and you get our thoughts out first, Haas.
All right, so go ahead.
I'm definitely in the boat of I think he's going to soar. I think Ricky Starks is a natural fit. I think he finally got can finally let his wings open up and really take flight in this. Just to cut loose. Because, I mean, for starters, the NXT crowd is so much more visceral. I think it plays to a guy like Ricky where people, it's kind of a nice combination of really diehard wrestling fans who know what's what and understand where he's coming from and everything, like the history wise. I think they have a lot to play with in terms of his personality, his character work, his mic work, his in-ring work. And honestly, I just think that it's a very big fish, little pond situation. Will we see him on the main roster? I certainly hope so at some point. But at this moment, let this man rule NXT. I definitely want to see him either in the North American scene or just throw him into the NXT title picture scene. I mean, we did that with Ethan Page when he jumped in, and I honestly would love to see nothing more than the best for Ricky Starks. So I absolutely think he's going to go a certain distance when it comes to NXT. He's probably going to blow all of our expectations in terms of what he has in store. And I'm ready for it. I'm just happy to see it. And I just want to take an opportunity before I throw it to you, Haas. I just want to say we currently have 28 viewers here tonight on the Wrestle Talk podcast. So just want to say from the bottom of our hearts, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us here tonight. We tend to get lots of big audiences. It's a very step up. But Haas, not to cut you off, what do you think about Ricky Starks?
Ricky Starks in NXT, I can't tell you how many times I watched him on AEW and thought, wouldn't he be something in WWE? So I'm excited to see it. I think Ricky's going to go a long way in WWE. And honestly, you look at the amount of talent that they've managed to get in NXT, and I almost look at NXT as it's just another WWE show. And I kind of wonder if maybe Evolve or one of these other shows isn't going to become what NXT was originally supposed to be, because NXT is just becoming another show of the actual main roster, if you ask me, because they've got so much talent down there. It's just absolutely crazy. And, the sad part is here lately, and especially you look at within the last week or so, you bring that NXT talent up to the main roster and they kind of get lost. And I think it's just because there's just so much talent in WWE right now, not just in NXT, but across the board. There's just so much talent there that when they bring them up, they're just getting lost in the shuffle. And, but overall, I look for Ricky Starks really to go a long way in WWE. And I think he's going to be a really good fit. And I look forward to seeing what he can do. So, Big Daddy, what's your thoughts?
He's money. He's money. And if he can stay healthy, he'll go to the top. If he can, because he's coming out like piss and vinegar, man. This is his chance, right? So as long as, and I'm sure there are people telling him, slow down. What made The Rock was slowing down. What made Roman slow down? There's a time and a place for everything. And if he blows his load right in the first shot, he could get hurt. And so I just hope that he just goes slow and he'll go, he will be a future champion. He's got everything. But now again, on the back end, I don't know him personally, so I don't know business wise how he is, but I do know that for him to be on security footage with Cody Rhodes was not a coincidence. I knew he was coming to WWE. And so
I think we all had a feeling he would.
Yeah, we know that made it clear. Again, we don't know. We don't have all the facts, right? I'm about to make a really, really, really crazy prediction. I think by the time we get into 2026, we're going to have someone else come back to WWE. And they're going to start it off with a countdown.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Say it.
Do you think that Y2J is going to be returning to WWE?
Without a doubt.
I don't know what happens to AEW after that, if that happens.
Again, they're yelling him to retire.
I don't know what happens to AEW anyway.
If they don't appreciate him, I know on the inside they appreciate him.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I follow you on this 100% because this puts me in the same vein as when they thought he was going to retire in his match with MJF, and then suddenly everybody decided, oh my God, he might actually retire. We like Chris Jericho. And then it's the very real idea that he's going to be gone or that he's going to come back to WWE and remind everybody, like, what about Y2J was why we like him. I'm with you on that. I definitely think this is going to be the wake-up call for everybody to be like, oh, man, Y2J was actually really good. Why did I hate this whole learning tree thing? Like,
I mean, because think about it. When he does retire, and he will, when he does, he's great on the mic. He'll be great commentator, great, but not commentator for AEW. You're not going to want to play or be a commentator at 3/4 of an arena. You want big. Anyway.
Well, I mean, not just Y2J. You look at it. You've got Miro and Malachi Black have both parted ways with AEW now.
And now Miro's single, right? Well, I think, you could do a whole show on just people coming into NXT and starting in a relationship. You know, there are a lot of relationships in WWE. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, this was unheard of back in the day.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have time. I don't think we'll have time to completely get into the question and everything, but you know, there was a question about that in the randomizer about the two of them leaving. And could you imagine, you were talking about the Wyatt Six. Could you imagine Malachi Black coming back to WWE and having House of Black in WWE and having a feud between House of Black and the Wyatt Six?
Perfect.
I would pay for that. Or just put him in NXT. Awesome. Like, not to undersell them. I'm just saying, like, I keep saying big fish, little pond. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that you are increasing your stock as you do that.
Do you think there's a better chance of Big Bill leaving AEW to come back to WWE, or do you think there's a better chance of Enzo coming back to WWE? Because they were just, who were they just with? All three of them on the Jericho cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Enzo had a little bit of his trouble in WWE, they both, because of their issues, ended up where they are. But they're both, I mean, they're just, again, that's another one this year that I think is.
I think Cass has a better chance. It's not to undersell Enzo. It's just I think he made a very because you guys saw that one time where he bought a ticket and he was in the audience.
Yeah.
And he got kicked out. I'm like, I'm sure they'll pave something over if they talk to him, but
but Vince was still there then.
That is true. But I feel like Hunter wouldn't do that either.
The tag team division is just, I don't know, man. It's not doing anything for me.
Enzo's busy running his own indie promotion.
Well, yeah, but that sucks sometimes. If he could, I don't know, a lot of possibilities, but anyway.
But all right, Big Daddy, it has been a pleasure to have you. But it's about time that we get to our featured guests, and we didn't get too much into the questions and stuff, but there's always just so much to talk about when we get on here. But like I say, our featured guest is waiting, and we want to be respectful of his time. And so it's been a pleasure, my friend, and we will see you again very, very soon. Until next time, love you guys. Be good. Big Daddy P, everybody. All right. Well, that first hour just absolutely flew by, I tell you. We make it look easy, man. That's it. So, all right. Well, as I said, we do have our featured guest backstage and waiting. So, we do want to be respectful of his time and go ahead and get him in here. So, Gabe, would you like to do the introduction? I shall try my very best. So, the Wrestle Talk Podcast featured spot here tonight. We have an American actor, wrestler, musician, and entertainer known for his versatile roles in both film and television with a career spanning multiple genres. He has appeared in a variety of notable productions, including the new Matlock starring Kathy Bates, Maggie Moores, alongside John Hamm and Tina Fey, the upcoming new movie Plankton and Graves. He has had a memorable role in the popular TV series LA to Vegas, where his comedic timing and sharp performance garnered attention. Into his acting career, Taylor is a multifaceted performer. He is a trained dancer, martial artist, musician, singer, wrestler, brings a unique skill to his roles. This man has done it all, and he has taken the opportunity to be here with us tonight. The one, the only, Sale Taylor.
What's happening? How we doing? How we feeling, gentlemen?
We're feeling awesome. Pleasure to have you on the show, man. Okay, we got to rock this out.
I'm with it.
Not our best one, but still, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
It's a pleasure to be had. Thank you so much for allowing me sharing time with y'all. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. We love to have it. And we just got to take an opportunity. We are up to 30 viewers here tonight. Thank you all very much for coming here tonight. They're all here for you, man. It's a pleasure. And I want to take the opportunity. I'm sorry. I had missed your moniker here. That is the Samoan Nightmare, Sale Taylor.
It's funny. So it's a play on it. So it's spelled Sale, but for like the Samoan side, it's Sale. But the name, the moniker that I also run with is For Sale. So like, you're still talking to me. We're still talking about me. We're still grooving.
I'm glad you clarified that, because that was actually one of my first questions. Was that when I first read it and I was about to DM one of our other guys here in the back, I was gonna be like, is it Sale or is it Sale? I don't want to screw this up. This is, mind you, this is the same guy who called Jeremy Lightfoot Jeremy Lightweight. So I'm not trying to make another enemy by misnaming them. So I'm glad you prefaced that so I wasn't screwed it up either way. So we're good.
You're grooving. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
All right, Gabe, why don't you go ahead and get us started here? I'm going to step out real quick, but I will definitely be back shortly. So
it's the Gabriel Arsene show then. Let's go. Star on the Wrestle Talk podcast. But I mean, we can just start with it, man. Just to get into it. So like I said, American actor, wrestler, musician, entertainer. I mean, you seem to have done it all. So just want to start with, I mean, where did you get your start? Was it wrestling? Did you start with acting first? And then like, what did you transition into as it goes forward?
It's a good question, actually. I'd say it started in church. My father was one of the pastors in the church we were growing up in. And my mother was always involved with the music ministry. And so I had to make sure that we were ready to go on any of those things. So we all, having the church plays, the skits, the human videos, we called it, and then working towards theater. But also, as that was happening when I was a kid, I found myself around a squared circle. I have family that's been in the business for generations now. And when we go visit some of them, I would go say hi and like, hey, want to go see the ring? And, as a kid, of course, yeah. So I've been around that a big part of my life. And then so started with church and then, theater stuff, but also music has always been a big part of my life. The ultimate thing, or when it comes down to, is I'm a storyteller, and I come from a long line of storytellers. And whatever medium I'm able to utilize, I'm either helping someone tell theirs or working on telling mine.
That's what we like to hear, especially when we have this opportunity here, man. So I got to ask, musician wise, what do you play? And like, what do you lean towards more? I mean, do you have like a specific genre, or do you just kind of mess with whatever instrument and wherever it takes you?
It depends who's paying me.
Fair enough.
I'm also a music director, and I have a few artists that I've worked with and helped develop a live sound for them. Also, for my own thing, I'm drums, guitar, keys, bass, vocals, just whatever needs to be done. And the genre, multi-genre, but the common theme, what I pull from is like soul, and it's one of my favorite things. Like one of those. When you're able to sing a song from beyond and help pull from the ancestors and pull, the way I see it, and allow people to share in time a moment that won't be duplicated. That for those who wasn't there live, that they can't experience that again. And so yeah, I pull a lot from soul, but it depends who's paying me. Yeah, I love blues, country, R&B. I got rappers I've worked with. I got whoever's paying me.
Well, I want to say, you mentioned soul. I want to say that's honestly a pretty apropos way of telling somebody's story. You're pulling back from that generation, that opportunity to tell a story that, that person may not be able to tell anymore. So I think that's very fitting.
Well said. I like that. Thank you. That's cool.
I try. Young lion with the old soul, as they say. But
good ball, sir.
Now, we mentioned acting, and obviously we have moments in pro wrestling where it's close to acting. I mean, I don't mean to say that in ring wise. I mean more so backstage segments, or just moments in your delivery or selling, so to speak. I have to ask, which is harder, would you say? Is it harder to sell or, play a certain character in a way when you're doing a wrestling role, or would you say it's closer to when you're doing an acting role? And I mean, what's your headspace when you usually try to figure that out? Like, obviously you play a heel or a face, but I'm sure there are a lot of acting roles where you're like, okay, well, what's my motivation? Who am I, what am I acting like?
I love roles like when I'm acting. I like to play more antagonistic kind of thing. I love playing heel. Right now I've been working with Duke City Championship Wrestling here in New Mexico, and I am one of the big heels for the show, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. And honestly, heels have fun. Heels have the most fun, and it's one of those things where a crowd on like when you're on stage for play, you have the crowd to give you a reaction. When you're on set, it's kind of funny when my hair is like this right now because I'm in the middle of shooting something, and this is my character hair. It's kind of cool. It's weird when you're on set, you're doing your thing, and you don't know if it's good or not because they're just like, all right, next shot, moving on. I'm like, okay, but a crowd for a wrestling show gives you the most genuine reaction that could be asked for, and whether they're reacting for you in with a cheer or a jeer, or even not reacting to you, you're getting that instant feedback. And myself as an actor, it's been fun. The challenge of just getting that, as a heel, getting heat. And that has been my challenge lately, trying to keep the heat. That part of it is the biggest challenge for me. And but I love that I get to play, that I am, pulling something where I can be the biggest piece of crap that you'll see, and it's so much fun. So much fun.
I would imagine. I mean, like, to pull from my own experience. So I'm a salesperson. I sell this cleaning product. So, standard issue stuff. I have a speaker. I kind of go around. I'm like, Sam's Club in 2 minutes, we will be handing out some free promotional items. So my own form of crowd work, if you will. And it is one of those things where it's sort of this fun balancing act where you have to figure out, like, in my experience, I like to play it as completely deadpan as possible, and it almost does the reverse effect. Like, if I play it in the sense that I'm like, guys, I hate this as much as you do, let's just all get together so we can get this bread, right?
Yeah.
And I find that I get more people on my side as a result. Now, obviously, I get the people who are rude, or they don't care, or they don't listen, or they said, you said free promotional item. I'm like, I already gave it to you. Hello. Do our ears work? But
I tell them.
But it's one of those things where, playing a heel, I'm sure there's like layers to it, and it's a different kind of puzzle altogether. Because playing a face, it's not to say that it's easy, but it's easier to get people's reaction to cheer for you in the sense that, I guess that it's like you can be nice, or you can, it's easy to high five people in the audience, or be like, hey, we're all in the same boat, or, bring a US flag out or something like that. But with heels, especially in the modern era, because a lot of people, I don't want to say know the business, but they understand what heels do to try and draw heat. And we have this weird kind of area where you have a heel, but people still cheer him, and we don't really know how to go about that. So I'm sure it's this whole different thing for you where you have to figure out, okay, how do I have these people still boo me? Like, even if they know me, and even if they're fans of the work. Yeah.
Well, you got two different sets of challenges for faces and heels. Heel is just for me to get an initial reaction, for you to care enough to be pissed and stay pissed and keep that heat necessarily. But faces have a bigger challenge of keeping you interested in the story, and they have to sell more. They have to work harder. And also, most faces, they take a bigger beating. And I love, as a heel, just giving the beating. But
you want to make sure they earn that cheer.
Exactly. Like, hey man, like, we're not going for cheap heats. We're not going for cheap cheers, So like, I want this moment to feel as real as possible. So I approach my acting as, like, from a more natural way of acting, where I'll heighten a moment for you, and as opposed to trying to. Sometimes I'll have to manipulate a moment, but if there is something in the air, I would love to highlight it and just make it, turn it up to 1,000. And let people just really fester in that,
kind of channel it and just
exactly
like fester.
if the moment's tense in there, then I'm gonna just make it even more tense. And
it's certainly a lost art form in wrestling. It's not to say that it's gone completely, but there's something about that like classic feeling in wrestling where there was that specific moment in a match or during an angle or something like that, and the people that were involved, you can't teach that. Like it's weird. It's almost like a secondary thing. One of my favorite examples, I don't know if you're familiar with Katsuyori Shibata. The man's timing is insane. Like there's a really cool shot where he hits like the big boot and he knocks somebody over the barricade, and he sees the camera. He sees it on the like screen in front of him, and he knows it's behind him. And he just, in that moment, he immediately locks in and he looks over his shoulder and he knew that the shot was there. It's like, you can't teach that. Like to be able to channel that, whether you're a face or a heel, it's unprecedented and it's really cool. So I like to know that you have the mindset for that, and I'm hoping I can catch some of that when I start to jump into the business.
It's a beautiful thing. There's nuances to it. First off, you have to get your training enough to have the fundamentals down. There are certain expectations. If you want to roll around in the ring, you have to. There's a very minimal level to make sure that you're considered safe to work with, and getting to that level is challenging enough. But then there's nuances, like depending how you want to work on your character or how you want to work. If it's a TV product, you got to know where the hard camera is, and you got to know how to work that. Are there floaters with the camera? Are there people with like who are cameras that are walking around with the camera? Do you know how to pull focus to that and know how to find that lens? Also, where does the light hit? You got to find the light. You got to make sure you stay in the light, and you give the crowd the most important part, especially it's still a live situation. You have to give the crowd time to comprehend what's going on and follow along if you're telling a story as well as you can. You can't just go from spot to spot to spot to spot, breathe, spot, taking the crowd, sell out, let people know I hate you, you hate me. We all are dysfunctional family type of thing. Sorry, I had to go with a rhyme. It just felt right.
Yeah, you're the musician, man. We got to roll with it.
It's one of those things where you like the smaller things, the way you're talking about how he can give a boot, he sees that, he knows where the camera is, and he plays to it. That's beautiful. That's things I love to see. I love it.
That's honestly my favorite part. Like I like to take the name, not to make this about me. I know we're talking to you here, but
come on, Guppy, come on.
The young lion with the old soul, I take pride in that because a lot of my fanaticism in wrestling is studying a lot of the older stuff. Like I do like to go back, but I like to go really far back. I had an opportunity a while back, I want to say about a year ago. There's a lot of footage on YouTube, and it's a lot of black and white stuff, like really black and white stuff. And it's insane to me. And I love watching it. And it's one of my favorite things about a lot of Japanese wrestling is the feeling out process. It's one of those things where I understand that it's a product and certain wrestling is for the certain areas. I get it. That's where wrestling is. It's chocolate vanilla. You can have what you want. But there is this sort of, I guess I want to say, thing that I miss in certain wrestling where something as simple as working the arm took like 5 to 10 minutes and they milked it, but it's like the crowd was on their feet the whole time. They're like, just like on their feet. And then as soon as he jumped out and tried to move out of the move, everybody popped, and then the heel threw him back down, and they're like, we're back to square one. And it's just, it's the little things. And I think Perry actually mentioned it earlier that he wants this for Ricky Starks. And I think a lot of wrestlers, need to understand this, myself included, slowing down is the best part. Understanding that, like, you can do a bunch of moves if you'd like to. If you want to space them out in your match, that's fine. But making people wait for it is the trick.
Yeah. But keeping people inclined throughout that, you're like.
So to throw. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. As you're going, Gabriel.
Well, I just to throw it back to my work, because a lot of it is crowd work. I have to talk to people, and I'm mentioning everything. And the thing is, too, I've done this enough times. I know my script like the back of my hand. It's to the point where, where I get bored of it. And I can see that with certain people in the audience where I'm like, okay, they're not paying attention. They're not looking at me. There's this thing I have called a ghost look, where you're looking at somebody, but you're not looking right at them. So it's a very good way of like identifying them and being able to like talk to a crowd without talking to one person individually. But my thing too is I like to insert things to try and get people's attention, get people to get those reaction. And it honestly lends into my deadpan behavior, you know, so it helps the product that I'm trying to do, and it plays to the character that I'm trying to do. And I really do hope it translates. Anyway, that's enough about Gabriel on this interview.
I'm taking notes, man. I'm taking notes. I'm grateful. It's one of those things where even as a musician, the harder shows are the ones with the less amount of people in the crowd, because you see the faces. But the trick is, like I said, the ghost look. You said you look past them, and then people feel that they're still a part of it, but you're not so focused on their faces, because I can see when I'm talking to someone and I see that you're like, oh, I can see when they're losing interest, and that kind of I had to adjust. As a wrestler, I have to gauge as much as I can, but what I've been working on now is like getting the crowd more involved in my matches. I have to. There's that element that no matter what I do with whoever I'm working with, whatever type of match, if I leave out the crowd, it's all a moot point. And I need to keep them involved. I need to keep them inclined. I need to keep them included. And
because it is a crowd sport. I mean, it's essential.
Yes. You know, for lack of a better way of putting this, it's talking to from NWA, Brian Idol and Natalia Markova. I run the panels for the Albuquerque Comic-Con here, and I did a special panel. We're talking about stunt fighting to stage fighting to wrestling to stunts, and we had like 30 people in this panel, and I was grateful that Brian Idol and Natalia Markova from NWA came in, and my friend from Rising Star stunt team, Daniel Moen, came in, and we were able to throw him around. But we talked about it. We agreed, like, professional wrestling, indie wrestling is physical theater. That's the best way to put it. And like in its simplest form. There's nuances to it, of course, but it's physical theater. And, you know, I need to, big part of theater is the audiences. So I need to make sure I keep them with me. So that's been my focus lately, trying to get that in. Sometimes my character has been more of a, like, I just want to come in and fight, and it doesn't matter what gimmick you got, I just want to fight you, and you gotta throw your gimmick away and let's just go. But I've been sometimes forgetting that there's an audience there, because I'm so focused on this fight I'm going to put on that I need to keep them with me, and I'll have them go wherever I need them to go.
And then just to throw it back to it one last time, for me, throwing it back again. Go on. Just playing it off at this point. What I find helps too is that ability to make the crowd feel bigger than it is. Because for me, in my experience, like, I'm trying to sell to people, and it helps. It's easy in the sense that I can get like 10 people around my table. And when you tell people to ooh and ah with that part, it's a lot easier because everybody's there and you're doing it with them. But when you have a crowd of 3 people are a little less inclined, and you're trying to make it. But the trick I find, in all of its nuances, is that you want to make sure that you want the crowd to feel bigger than it actually is, to the point that they believe it. And then when they believe it, then your crowd is as loud as it is. Is the idea that ghost look helps because it makes them think there's somebody behind them. And when they make them feel like there's somebody behind them, they don't feel alone, and they feel like the crowd is as bigger as it is. So when you make them feel like it's a big crowd, it is a big crowd to them, and then they're cheering like it's a big crowd. But I feel like I've been talking enough on this piece.
You're touching on beautiful things. Man after my own heart. I love that. They're like, I have this saying that was told to me by one of my uncles. Whether for 1 or 1,000 or 1,000,000, you put on the best damn show you can give, and you play to the people in the back. Because remember, you were once in those nosebleeds, and you need to make them feel like they're here too. And those in the front gets an even more heightened experience as well. And
I have footage of myself in those nosebleeds, so I won't forget.
Yeah, exactly. We hold on to those, and when you can tell when someone's connecting to those who's up there, who's been there, the people who's had to put water in their ketchup to stretch it a little bit further, who's had to like cut around the mold on the bologna just to cheat another meal, man. I play to those people. I sell for those guys. And that enriches every single person that's made it to the front, because they know that everything I'm doing has intent. Everything I want to show, I have a reason. Everything I'm saying has meaning behind it. Every punch I throw at you, I'm showing them I really want to hurt this guy, because I want that person in the back to see and feel that this is something that no one else whoever's not here is missing out. I want people to know that every time I'm on stage, whatever stage I'm on, I'm giving you everything I got, because I remember what that was like when I had to sneak in, and I remember being so broke when people wouldn't even accept cash from me. I was so broke. People looked at me like, I think you need this more than me. I remember that. I will never forget that, because I know someone else has that and someone else dealing with that, and I want to heighten their experience, and that just pays off for everyone that's even closer. So
That's what it's all about.
Cut a little promo right there for you, man. Damn.
There you go. That's the Sale Taylor, Sale Taylor exclusive here in the Wrestle Talk podcast. Well, that's enough on the powwow on my end. Hardcore Haas, did you have any questions you want to throw his way?
To be honest with you, a lot of the questions I had, you guys have kind of already hit, because, I had a couple questions lined up about, how skills with the acting and skills for wrestling, how they transcend, and, where one lends to the other. But you've kind of already hit all that. But, we do like to include our fans, which we actually have 32 people watching right now live, and we do appreciate each and every one of them. And I'm sure there's a lot that's going to be catching the replay, but if you have questions, be sure to drop them in. And AJ Wallace here, he dropped a question in, so we want to throw it out there. How's it like to work with legendary Academy Award winner Kathy Bates on Matlock?
Man,
you had an opportunity to meet her, I'm assuming.
All my scenes were with her.
Look at that.
And I'm in 2 episodes. My first episode comes out this Thursday, actually. And she is a godsend. She's older. I believe she announced that this is her last show. This is the last thing that she wants to do. So she's officially retiring after this. I'm honored and grateful to have shared a part in that final chapter for her, but she's not done. She got other things that she wants to do. It was overwhelming. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I remember one of my scenes with her. It's just the 2 of us. I'm sitting opposite of her, and usually when you're shooting a scene, they'll do we'll call a master wide shot. And you go through the whole scene, and the camera's pretty stationary, and it sees everyone, so that the production or the director will have a note where everyone is, and it will be on camera. Then we start going closer and closer. On that scene specifically, because the room was so small, they just started on my close-up, and I was nervous, man. And I almost cried. It's like, I'm tired. It's like. The scene started off with she and I just staring at each other, and I'm trying to measure her intent, and she has the most, she's meme on me, and I'm like, oh, don't cry, stay in it, and just I'm trying to remember my damn lines, and but Kathy, she's a professional. She's so sweet. She knew that I was psyching myself out, and the director she came in like, are you okay? I'm like, no. just give me a second, man. Just let me. And then Kathy like, Sale, it's okay. I mess up all the time. I'm like, you're Kathy Bates though. She's like, okay.
That humbling moment where you're trying to be nice, but you're the expert. What do I do?
Kathy Bates. When I initially met her, she couldn't hear and make out how to say Sale, so she had the whole crew stop moving so she could hear and try it out. And okay, go on, everyone. Everyone stopped, and everyone went back to work. And she cares about the people she worked with, and she's still good. She still got it. there's a few scenes where like she's very emotional, and I'm supposed to stay in and stay focused, and she's just all over the place emotionally, and I'm over here trying to make sure I don't cry because I feel the lens on me. I'm like, damn it, just come on, stay in it. Yeah, I think that's what I got from that my time with Kathy. The month I was over there was I think most of the time was just me trying to not cry. That was my main thing. Kathy was amazing, and
then did she leave you with any pieces of advice or anything that you just kind of took away, or just any like cool moments specifically? Did she like buy you something at the vending machine, or just like talk to you after the shoot and was just like, hey, you want to get some coffee, or like any just kind of personal stories, or just mostly just kind of on shot?
She so after that time I got to have that one-on-one with her, and the next day we were shooting again. Her personal assistant, I land to set, I'm just getting ready, I'm just running through my lines, and her assistant comes up, she goes, Kathy wants to talk to you. And so mind you, Kathy's like also one of the executive producers of the show, so she's one of the bosses. I'm like, is she firing me? I get in, I sit down with her. She just wanted to know more of me, and we spent half an hour just talking to each other, and like I felt like legit friends after that. And the coolest thing she told me, because she knew that I was just still nervous, she's like, it's okay to fail. It's only film. It's okay. Just keep going. Just keep going. And that was one of the coolest things that she gave me. And I'm tearing up thinking about it. Kathy, if you're watching this, Kathy, yeah, Kathy's gonna be watching Wrestle Talk. We love you, Kathy. I love you. I'm grateful, and she's amazing. She's amazing. But yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to fail. Just keep going.
It's just film.
Yeah,
like
it's just film.
I can't help but be reminded, and not to cut into it. It's just I don't know if you guys have ever seen King of the Hill, but there was a very but there was an episode where Bill Dauterive was with Luann, and they were doing like he was trying to help her out so she could get her spa license, and he says, "Don't worry, it's just hair; it'll grow back." So I feel like it's in the same vein, but it goes a long way,
A little bit of perspective goes a long way, even with professional wrestling. I'm working with Duke City Championship Wrestling, DCC Dub, has been a blessing and has been a great place for me to get back into it. It's been about 20 years since like the last time I touched, I went between the ropes. 20 years. And which means I started when I was -5. But my concern, the golden rule for me, especially with my martial arts background, the golden rule has always been partner safety. And there's this reverence when it comes to that world of professional wrestling because of so much family in it. And they keep reminding me of it. People lived and died by this. So actually one of the coolest things that talking about perspective, one of my uncles, my Uncle Sam, actually, also known as the Tonga Kid. I'll just name drop right now, man. My Uncle Sam told me, and it's stuck with me ever since, because when I first did the thing when I was a kid, he was like, just remember, boy, you're no one with no name has done nothing but take from the business. Your only job now is to give back. That is something I carry with me, and anyone else I walk with, that's what I share with them. Throw your ego aside. It's just wrestling. But when you come through here, you put your all. You give your all, because every single other person that's gone through those ropes has given their all. And I walk in that ring, I walk in any show with reverence because of that. My only job is to give to the show. And it's only wrestling. Have some fun while I'm at it. But at the same time, as a heel, knock some heads, but as safe as I can. I would love to make sure that my people I'm working with are able to get up and do this again the next day. But I want to tell as real a story as possible. It's only wrestling. You know, why not throw away your ego and just tell the story, serve the show, and make sure whoever you're working with gets up and do that again. You know, that's my approach, and then that's the perspective I have. You know, I just saw someone asking, "Do I know El Lobo?" I keep hearing that name in New Mexico.
Pop that up here real quick.
Yeah,
So that's Susie Haas. She said wrestles in New Mexico. Do you know Silas Andrews, El Lobo? So are you familiar with Silas Andrews, or are you?
I keep hearing about this.
You've heard about him. Okay, so not a face-to-face confrontation just yet.
Not yet.
All right. But, well, Silas Andrews, you're on Taylor's radar. So courtesy of the Wrestle Talk podcast, you better watch out.
It'll be my honor. Share time with you, shake your hand. You know.
So you mentioned the DCCW. You do have a match coming up here very soon, sir, where you're going to be facing the Renegade Ricky Rebel, at Love Hurts here. And so if Ricky happens to be watching, here's where we get into the real work. If Ricky happens to be watching, what do you have to say to Ricky?
Pain, regret. Those two words will be going through your head. Pain and regret. The first word you said to me should have been the last. So I'm going to make you feel pain and regret. Watch it happen, boy. Watch it. Pain and regret.
Ooh.
I do not envy this man after that.
Yeah. Ricky been talking. We went head to head in Amarillo, and it didn't go nicely for him there. So I'm gonna just continue on. I'm backed up by Matthew Robles, the MK Knight himself, and also I'm being brought to the stage with Chelsea Dotson, one of the slapping champs. Coming out also. So I'm telling you, that boy gonna get pain, and he gonna regret it. That's that boy.
Can we get that on a shirt now? Like, I dig that. Like, can we do the Fiend where we got the gloves?
Pain and regret.
Yeah. Can we get that?
Or records.
Right? Now, can we get that? That's perfect.
Feeling that. Yeah, no, it's that boy been talking. So I can't wait to see him again. And I'm borrow a line from David Tua. I'm grateful and I'm honored for the opportunity to show him and teach him a lesson. So it's going to be great.
Yeah,
if anything, I want to actually touch on that. Oh, I'm sorry, Haas.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that really is something. I like that as well. So, what were you going to touch on there, Gabe?
Well, I wanted to say we had mentioned DCCW, so we had an opportunity. We usually like to plug this at the end of the program, but I have to make sure.
We're all over the place, baby.
Here. But I was going to say, would you want to take an opportunity to kind of run down what we have on the card so far? Your thoughts on some of the competitors?
A few things have been released. The Love Hurts. So it'll be our first intergender tag team match. We have our the Zamaya. Madam Zamaya. Zamaya, like papaya. Zamaya and Jaden Money Monroe. These two kids are really, really great, but they're going against a lot of experience. And Natalia Markova from the NWA and our heavyweight champ, Hobo Hank. That match is going to be all over the place, and I can't wait to see what kind of nonsense they're going to pull out. You also got, I think it was just announced today. Oh, no. One of my followers, so I am the Samoan Nightmare. I'm also the Polynesian Prince, but I'm also for sale. One of my guys in my group, for sale, or one of my sellouts. Such a stupid dad joke. I got the Ronin going out versus Mr. Happy. Mr. Happy and I got heat, so I'm gonna see how he does with one of my boys, man. Ronin, you're gonna witness the rise of something beautiful. He is the new definition of a monster. I'm excited to see that. Mr. Happy's got a lot of experience as well, but I don't think he's ready for my boy Ronin. Ronin's going to come out introduce. Actually, since Love Hurts is the name of the show, we're gonna just throw that all around, man. Pain hurts, and regrets. But Mr. Happy though, he comes with a lot of experience, and he's the former Route 66 champ. And I might have had a hand in that, but he doesn't deserve to walk around. I should have been that first champ anyways. But the rise of Ronin is going to be a beautiful thing to see. And then just announced today, the tag teams, we have the Pretty City Express, Devin and Class, Devin Reno and Class. Those two are amazing, but they're going to come across a big test right now. Turbo Tony and Tommy Test. These two are current tag team champions. They're also known as the Red and Green Chili Champs. You have a red title and a blue and a green title. It's actually pretty dope. But the Pretty City Express,
mine of Mario and Luigi.
Pretty much, man. Actually, yeah, it's really dope. It's really nice. They are the current DCCW tag team Red and Green Chili Champs. That match is also going to be amazing, and I think we have a few more matches that will be announced. But we do have a really, really big announcement coming out this Saturday, and it is a taping. So we are on YouTube. You can watch that if you're not in the region of the Southwest. You can watch us at Duke City Championship Wrestling. You'll see us, or watch Duke City Championship Wrestling, or just find us on YouTube. But there is a really, 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 really big announcement. This one's been months in the making, and one of the people that I need to thank, and I'll thank him here. I spoke to him earlier today. I got to thank my little cousin, my little brother, Jacob Fatu. He's one of the people that helped make this happen. And he gave us, ultimately, he came last January. And he came at my request. He canceled a big date. And this is like right between his MLW contract being up and 2 weeks before he signed with WWE.
Just that little gap in between, because I was keeping up with MLW right at that time. So I was just like, really? Okay.
So, like, here's a little exclusive for you. That's my little cousin. That's my family. Those guys are my family. Jacob, we grew up together, and it was Jacob's dad, the one that got me in the ring in the first place, as well as my uncle, the original Polynesian Prince, Joe Taylor, and the original Tasmanian Devil, Fred Taylor. They're actually part of the original Samoan SWAT team. And this is before, Paul, when it was Paul E. Dangerous, he managed them, and then Uncle Samu came through. So the original Samoan SWAT team was my Uncle Joe, Fred, Uncle Sam, Uncle Samu. Then those guys. Oh, and Junior too, Rikishi. Yeah, man, those guys were all kids back in the day, just tearing up San Francisco. God, man, those guys are hilarious. But that's why I also go by the Polynesian Prince, because I'm bringing that name back into the family. Until another one of my little brothers take it up, because I'm just a placeholder. But anyways, back to Jacob. So I gave Jake a call. He answered randomly. That food never answers his phone. Gave him a call. Said, hey man, we have this January show coming up, and it's during Albuquerque Comic-Con. How do you feel about coming out? I'll get you a seat. You can sign some autographs, get you some extra cash. Because I heard through the grapevine that your MLW contract is going to be finishing up soon. And he was like, you know what? I'm supposed to be going to New York. And he told me the quote that they gave him, because they really wanted him there. And they were just still talking. And I was like, how about this? I will offer you not that, but I will cook you a home cooked meal. And he gave me a fraction of his usual, because I'm always on the road as well. There's nothing like when you're on the road, being around family, people you trust, and more importantly, a nice home cooked meal. And so, man, I don't think we slept that whole weekend. But he came in and he tore the house up. He tore the house up, and he gave us a rub. He gave us the rub that made us look and become more legitimate. And because of that, beautiful things have began to happen, and the fruits from that labor, from the seeds that was sown from there. We have an amazing announcement this Saturday at our Duke City Championship Wrestling show. Love Hurts this Saturday. It is going to be taped, so if you're not going to be there live, you can watch that episode come out later. But I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to send this to Jake and make sure he sees this. Even his brother, my other brother, Journey. Uso, fatai, alofa tutele, fakai. That's my brother, man. Talked to him earlier today. Would you like another exclusive?
Yeah, and just to throw this out there, for the uninitiated, what did you just say?
Thank you, my brother. I love you. Basically, I said that in Samoan.
We
could
get the
please get it out. I just keep the exclusives rolling, man. We're
Yeah,
loving
man.
it.
do we get the exclusive as to when you're going to join the bloodline?
No, I'm gonna leave that shit. We have for the kids, man. Like, let them have fun. I'm old, fat, and broken, and I have my younger brother actually, the Samoan Reaper. He just had his debut out in Stockton, California. And
That is the cleanest name. I just got to start with that.
Yeah,
it's like any kind of moniker that follows the word Samoan. That's it. Like, I'm saying, well, because that's how you know it's real. You know, we got the Samoan Werewolf, Samoan Nightmare, Samoan Reaper. Like, can we get these guys in Street Fighter or Tekken? Like, please. Like, that sounds like the coolest shit ever.
I would love that. I'm gonna just create those myself. Shoot. My little brother Zeke, the Samoan Reaper, you know, he's doing his thing out in Stockton, and I'm really proud of him. He had his debut last month, and like, can't be any more proud of him. I'll leave the WWE stuff for him, but I just wanted to show him that like there's still room for us and our generation to get back in the ring. And I have so many other cousins that are killing it that haven't been back in the ring yet. So like, I'm just holding space for them because I, believe it or not, I'm one of the smallest guys in my family, and I am one of the.
I find that hard to believe when I see footage of you on IMDb.
I'm one of the smallest guys.
I was gonna say you're built like a brick house, my friend.
I'm built like a padded wall, man. That's more like that. But I have so many other cousins that are more talented and like physically. I have another younger brother who was supposed to be Jacob's tag team partner, but life got in the way. But like, you know, if he wants to get back in the ring, Isaiah, like, it is over for anyone else. If you think I'm intense, you wait till you see him. You know, wait. You know, you got the younger one, the Samoan Reaper. That boy's he's like already 6'3". He's trying to be a high flyer. I'm like, bro, calm down. But you know what? Do it up, man. That new A&E show. I got a niece, Penina. She's in that Legends Future Greats, the LFG show, that new WWE show. She's doing it over there. That new Tough Enough show, basically. It's a Tough Enough show, basically. I just want to make sure that the next generation knows that there's room for them, and you know, I'm just a guy having fun and telling stories, but also letting out some extra energy, letting out some aggression on whoever's in front of me, which this weekend will be the Renegade, Ricky Rebel. And like I said, the two words, pain and regret. That boy gonna feel them both. And he's gonna probably only say those two words for the rest of his days. Naya, yeah. Little Miss Fanene, yeah, she's family. I'm telling you. The family runs deep, baby.
I was about to say I can't help but think of the track Rikishi released, and I just think them roots run deep. They run deep.
You know, we come from an extended.
Throw this out for Susie Haas over here, not to talk over you, boss.
Yeah.
So she said, I was wondering if you were related. You look a little like him, but you're cuter. So I think you got a fan here in the Wrestle Talk. And then she just threw this one out there.
Go on.
So I think Susie Haas is trying to give you a bite of that cornbread, but
Go on. Go get some of that cornbread. I'm grateful for the family that even when talking to Journey fought too. It was Jacob's younger brother. He's got his own promotion, Oasis Pro, out in dang it. It's up there. It's in Cali. Oasis Pro. You got having talks with him, and even when I told him I'm getting back in the mix of things, I was asking, is it okay if I talk about being connected to the family? And he was like, yeah, just earn it. So like, okay, no, don't disgrace. All right, no pressure now. But it's a beautiful thing. I love it. Did you see that they released some more wrestlers for not released wrestlers, but for the 2K25 game for the Bloodline special edition? Jacob's dad is going to be in there. He's one of the legends. So, Tonga Kid just got announced. There you go. He just got announced. Tonga Kid's in there. Haku is in there. So I hope we see a King Tonga. That was a great. That was a great
Well,
gimmick.
just to throw it out there, Peter Maivia, can we get a
Peter?
Come on,
Hi,
man.
Chief. Uncle Pete. Hi,
That's
Chief.
it. I mean, we got the tribal chief and the final boss. Can we get the OG? Like, can we
Yeah.
get the actual original here up in this?
They announced High Chief Peter Maivia as well. Even Rikishi's old gimmick too.
Head shrinker.
Yeah. So,
I was going to say, which old gimmick are we talking? The Sultan, Make a Difference Fatu, or Head Shrinker? Young Lion, old school. I know my wrestling.
I am proud of you.
Yes.
Look at you. No, they announced a long line of the bloodline, and then like the generations before. So it's really awesome seeing that. And now I have to get the bloodline, so I got to throw out that extra $2,000 for this stupid edition. But it's worth it just as to see it play as my little cousin, my little bro Jacob on there. That is the biggest payoff that I'm popping for that still now. I'm marking out on that and seeing where he was, where he is, and what he's going to do. Well, how do you feel about how Jacob's doing so far?
I'm elated with Jacob. Because I only really got introduced to him when I started MLW. I want to say about 2 years ago, and I was already a fan. Like, just to see this man and his performance, and then when it's like there's something about a match where an entire audience of people is screaming "oos" and "bro" at the same time, and it's just like in conjunction with each other. And then what made me the diehard fan, and when I started to really look into it, was the King Kong versus Godzilla promo. I think about that promo a lot. When you lock in that hard, like this dude said it from the bottom of his soul. He said, King Kong versus Godzilla. You ain't King Kong or Godzilla, because I'm both. Like, you feel that. And then when he did that on Raw, I was like, nobody's ready. That was it. Like, I think I see all the footage of him in the indies. I see the moonsaults. I see the jumps. I like to see a man this monstrous move as big as this dude does, as quickly and as agile as he does. I'm like, I do not want to be on the other end of the ring for this man. And I pray for anybody who wants to stay in his way.
How about you, Haas? How you think? What you think? What's your assessment so far?
Yeah, I've really been liking it, and I'm just can't wait to see, how things go and where they go from here. There are so many different theories out there as to, what could happen. And, just the thought of some of those theories, like him turning on the bloodline and stuff. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but just listening to some of those theories and stuff, I can't wait to see where everything goes with him. He really is phenomenal. And like Gabe said, the way he moves for a man his size is just it really is something. I really love to watch people like that.
It's got to be Solo and Jacob at either Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania. That's got to happen.
I'm waiting for the moment. I genuinely believe that
you're here, right?
The moment that Jacob says, "I hate you, Solo," that's it. Like that's gonna rival Batista turning on Triple H, and I'm saying that exactly. When he says, "I hate you, Solo," everybody's gonna lose it. They're gonna go ballistic. Like, I promise you. Mark my words on this date here today, folks. Mark my words. When that happens, the audience is gonna love it. And then that's when he's really gonna start to pop off. So I'm ready.
That may be like the beginning of his face, like turning, like his baby face turn, but like more like the Stone Cold, the tweener, the anti-hero type of thing. Like he's gonna come and wreak havoc and leave.
And I'll be the one to say this. I'll be the person to put this out there, just to as a throwback as well, to throw it back to the bloodline in and of itself, running deeper. I want to see Jacob Fatu break the Intercontinental Championship record. I think if anybody could genuinely put a number to beating Gunther's record, just because this man is well-deserved and I love his work, but if I could ever see somebody beat the record without being a chicken shit heel and just stalling as long as possible, Jacob Fatu is the one to do it. I think if anybody could believably hold that championship and be in reference to Umaga, I think that'd be perfect. I think that's the way to do it.
Give him the run. That would be excellent. So one of the funny things, so I run the panels for Comic-Con. I put the schedules together, and I sometimes I'll go in and do the interviews. I like moderate a panel myself. And by the way, I commend you too. Like, I really appreciate the warmness and the openness. This is a really great space. I've done stuff where people are like, "I'm talking to a wall, bro." Like, like five word questions. Like, what are you asking exactly? And then just keep asking the same question. Like, bro, okay, I'll just go on a rant. But no, so the panels, I'm grateful, and I've been fortunate where I've been able to sit down with a lot of legends. And one of my favorite panels I've done is like I sat down with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Honky Tonk Man, and I've done it a few times, and it's hilarious because from where I started with them to seeing them again, they're older. This product right now, they barely recognize it, which is fair. But Honky Tonk Man talking about, like, I used to say I held the Intercontinental title the longest, but now I can't say that anymore. I'm like, you can say you used to hold it the longest. Like, what the hell do I talk about that? Like, who the hell wants to say it's someone who used to? And and the Honky Tonk Man just cutting a promo on me. So like, what the hell? Well, has been said, are you calling me has been son? I'm like, yo, I'm just asking questions here. Honky Tonk Man going off on me is one of my highlights of my career. And then $1 Million Man in the back, like, oh, you gotta start it now, man. Son should have talked about that. But I would love the idea of Jacob getting a run, and that would be an amazing thing to see. But I'm so happy. I think y'all were talking about Big Daddy earlier. Like, what a time to be a professional wrestling fan. The oversaturation of choices and channels. And so many, like, how many, if anyone has a DVR, that poor thing is just so backed up. And that's just like probably 1 week's worth. And it is so much to catch up on every week. And I have a radio show with Fred Slow, one of the owners of Duke City Championship Wrestling. We have an hourly weekly show, and just 1 hour, once a week is not nearly enough time to talk. Even if we did 1 hour every day, that's still not nearly enough time to talk about everything that's out there. So, what a time to be a professional wrestling fan, because I'm loving it. I'm grateful for it. This is a great time to be in it and catching up. Is there a product is there promotion that y'all are really enjoying yourselves?
Me personally, I already mentioned it. I'm all about MLW right now. I had the opportunity because I was a huge fan of Riddle, and I had heard about his match with Fatu, and I heard that he was using the oh god, what is it called? It's gonna kill me. The stretch, the Von Erich one. I forget what it is. But how he got the tap. It's gonna kill me when I figure out what this is later. But he got the submission with it, and I was just like, hell yeah, because I really like Riddle, and I had never seen MLW at that point, so I'd watched Kings of Colosseum, and something just clicked. It was one of those things where I didn't recognize a whole lot of people, but that was a good thing. I was interested in the product that they had. I liked the diversity. It felt like a snack bag of different wrestlers. You know, you had your hardcore with Ricky Shane Page and Akira. You had your, your technical wrestling. You had your homegrown guys like Alex Kane. And just to see somebody like, Riddle versus Jacob Fatu really sold me on it. And then from there, thanks to Wrestle Talk, I was able to attend one of their events. They came here down to Florida. And so like now I'm just a diehard fan for life. All their stuff's on YouTube now. So like I want to see their growth. I want to see everything that's going on. Yeah. And then aside from them, New Japan. I've just always been a thing about the Japanese wrestling, its style, its look, their system as far as their Young Lions. I mean, that's where I get the name.
Good for 'em.
And honestly, just the growth of it. Like there's something about the presentation of Japanese wrestling that is so like, it still feels like a sport, that they feel like these people that are competing and they know how to present it in a way that's really good. And then, I dabble with a lot of the other stuff too. Like for me, it's not that I don't like watching WWE. It's just that I know I'm going to hear about it. So I just typically leave it to that. I want to look where everybody else isn't looking because I find that you find more out there, because everybody wants to be. This is the weirdest example I can think of because it's a reference to an anime, but would you rather be a grain of sand in the desert or a sea urchin in the desert? Which is the weirdest example I can give. The context makes a lot more sense to it if I could explain it, but I feel like I'm going over time here. Pause. What are some standoutish wrestling for you that you tend to watch?
Honestly, of course, I try to catch the WWE every week. I've got AEW that I watch, but I've kind of been finding more because those were the two mainstays, the ones that I really paid attention to, and then here lately I come across OVW, and I've been watching some of them. I've been learning more about New Japan. I hit up Gabe not too long ago and was like, dude, the countouts aren't 10.
Not only are the countouts not 10, can the title change hand on a countout? And I was like, yes, they can.
The title's really changing.
Set over there.
So, I've been kind of getting into watching some of that. And, so there's just so much of it out there. But really, more than anything, I've been enjoying the independent scene even more than I have really the what you see on TV. Susie, she's actually my sister. Her and I go to a local promotion, WDWA, World Domination Wrestling Alliance. As a matter of fact, we'll be there this weekend for a show in Martinsburg. And, they really have been putting on a good product. And just about every weekend, though, I am at some independent show, and so I've really been following the independents really more than I have the actual
That's
WWE or anything, and they've been putting on good products. So
it's funny with my partner. When I took her, it was when we lived in East LA, and we lived a few blocks away from the Ukrainian Performance Center, which is where GCW will come. And Jacob was doing a show with them. So I was like, hey, bro, you coming? You want to be in LA? Like, yeah. I was like, it's like 3 blocks away from me. And like, all right, I'll get you in. I was like, it's going to be me and my girl. And I'm trying to tell her, hey, so I'm not asking you. We're going to go to a wrestling show. And she's like, no, this sounds so stupid. It's fake. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Jacob, you're going to see a little bro. You're going to watch him. And he had a tag match. It was him, Juicy Finau, another big boy, against the Briscoes. And Jacob had heat. And this is what I aspire to. Oh my gosh. So I bring her in. I do the whole thing. I'm like, hey, Jacob's taking us through the back. We're gonna meet everyone. We're gonna shake everyone's hand and introduce ourselves, and like shake everyone's hand. She's like, do we have to? Like, yes, it's a thing. We're doing this. And Matt Cardona's there, and Chelsea's there. Like, dude, it's like, yo, like it was an amazing. It was a stacked night, and so we get there, and they had the opening match, and like I'm trying to explain to her, hey, people yell 2 if they don't count if the ref doesn't count to 3, like we cheer for the good guy, they boo. She's like, whatever. I kid you not, like 3 minutes into the match, she's like, I look over to her, she's like,
yep.
She's like, and oh, that warmed my heart. So I spoiled her. Her first live wrestling event was watching Jacob and Juicy work with the Briscoes. And now she goes to any of my shows. She's like, well, Jacob did this. Jacob does that. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm old. I'm not doing that. Like, well, Jacob does the pop-up Samoan drop. How do you know these moves?
Yeah. Jacob does this. I know. He's my family.
Yeah. Like, oh, like, Jacob, he's a little bit faster. Yeah, I know. So I really spoiled her, but I'm grateful that she's now part of it. She gets to watch it, and we'll watch the big shows, and she's just like, is my husband on? Like, Roman? Yeah, he's not on yet. So she'll only watch his matches. But is Jacob on, little bro? Like, yeah, he's on right now. Oh, she'll rest in the front. But like, what a time to be a fan. And but GCW, they're a fun product. The MLW, keep an eye on them. They're really fun. I'm really curious about this WDWA World Domination, the Wrestling Alliance. If I were to get an invitation, it's worth a talk. I'm not going to give you, John Hendry, a quote from that like that. I'm not gonna give you that. But I love being part of. I love telling stories. I love having fun. But more importantly, I love the physicality of it. And if they're looking for another guy to piss people off, I'm Huckleberry.
I will pass that word on because I actually happen to be pretty good friends with the promoter there, and you were talking about taking your friend with you and everything, and that reminds me, it was like I guess it's been about a month or so ago. I had a friend of mine from years ago he really loved wrestling, and he had hit me up and he's like, hey, I could really use a night out. Are you going to the wrestling show? I was like, yeah. He's like, I might have to go. He's like, let me talk to my wife and see what I can do. So he told me his wife wasn't big into wrestling. So I was like, okay, let me know. He talked to her into it. And his little girl went with us too. And by the end of the night, his wife is taking pictures with the wrestling. And he's like, she doesn't take pictures. The very next show they came back, and of course she was still into it, and now they have seats reserved at every show. And she is just as into it as anybody else, and he's like, I never imagined it. So yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
These independent shows, if you haven't been to an independent show, you really need to go because
it's so
they
much more
really
visceral.
are.
Yeah,
it really lends itself to a better product. Because, like, as somebody who's been to a WWE show, I was in the nosebleeds, and that's not to say that it's not bad, but I feel like there's a certain disconnect. You get to play a lot with the audience, which is fine. Like, we like to cheer, that's fine. We had a bunch of dudes in the audience that kept saying "yeah," so that got old real quick, but.
Yeah.
But with the MLW audience or, your WDWAs or your GCWs, it's like you feel a lot closer, not just to the audience, but to the wrestlers. And, you know, in my experience, my fiance, we were able to go, and there's no better feeling. Like, mind you, we had separate areas because she had to sit across from me the first time we went. So she's texting me in between the matches, asking me for updates. She's like, "Did they turn on that guy?" I was like, "Yes, they did." And she's like, "What just happened? They beat that guy up." Like, she was getting invested into the story. And we still have to watch the actual footage of it, but I believe they actually got a shot of her, and she did her makeup all up. It was perfect. She got this goth look. So hopefully, if you guys can actually watch the, I'm trying to remember, I believe it was War Chamber, but there's a shot of her with a bunch of other people, and they're behind Joe Dabrowski and the announcers, and they're just chanting MLW, MLW. I want to see that shot of her. Like, if I can find that, I want to put it on the show here. But that's the feeling we all look for when it comes to professional wrestling, and the feeling of bringing somebody that may be like, oh, whatever, it's just guys, you know, in trunks, and they're jumping on the floor and hitting the mat, right? And they're crappy promos or whatever. You know, we have that like disposed notion of it, but this is what it's still real to me, damn it.
But, you know, we can sit here and talk about this all night long, and as good of a time as we're having and everything. I don't know how much you were told about the show prior to coming on, but towards the end of our show, we always have a special segment that's called Wrestle Talk Podcast World Famous Game Show Challenge. And what happens is it pits one of our hosts against our guest for the week. And, you know, in the meeting beforehand, we were trying to decide who was going to play in the game show. And Gabe said, with my knowledge, I think I can beat Saleh.
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure. I believe in you.
So, somebody has to.
Are you game to play the game show challenge against Gabe tonight?
I'm down to fail. It's good. I'm with it.
We're down a clown, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
So we have a little bit of music here, and we'll get going.
I'm groovy.
Welcome to this week's installment of the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls and features the Samoan Nightmare, Saleh Taylor, taking on the young lion with the old soul, Gabriel Arsene. Tonight's game show challenge category is 2025 champions. I will give you information on 3 different professional wrestlers who have won championships in 2025. When you think you know the answer, just shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 out of 3 falls is the winner. If you shout out an answer and it is not correct, you may continue to shout out answers until the right answer is given. Do you understand?
Nope. Let's do this.
So, all right. First question. Remember, you can shout it out at any point. You don't have to wait for me to finish. So once you know the answer, just shout it out. This wrestler defeated Mariah May to become the AEW.
Oh, wait, no. Damn it. Tony Storm.
Tony Storm is correct.
Damn it. I just had Stephanie's assets going through my head. Sorry.
So the first fall goes to Saleh. Question number 2.
Gotta let him get on the board.
This wrestler defeated Nick Nemeth to become the TNA
Joe
World.
Hendry.
Hendry is correct.
I believe.
All right, so we're all tied up. One
How
apiece.
amazing would it be if he showed up in that moment? Like just like he just jumped onto the call like right there. It's just like we shelled out $5,000 so he could show up on the Wrestle Talk podcast
For that moment,
right? I'd say that's $5,000 well spent.
Worth it.
All right. So question number 3. This wrestler defeated Liv Morgan to become
Rhea
the
Ripley.
women's.
Ah,
Rhea Ripley is correct.
good form.
You can't just make it the defeating. You got to give us a lead in. All right. Haas, before we jump into this, do we have a final question? Because typically I know we have an extra one.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have an extra question.
All right. So just to throw the posterity out there, Saleh, under normal circumstances, I would take this W, but I want to throw a fair opportunity because I am a man of equal opportunity. I want to have an all or nothing for this last question.
Okay. All right.
So this is your last opportunity to beat the young lion with the old soul in the trivia in the world famous Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. So
There's a bad lag on my end. I'm just saying, man.
Are you ready for this final question?
Nope. Let's go.
All right.
All right. This team defeated Private Party to become the.
Bro, it's
Young Bucks.
No, not Young Bucks.
You said the Private Party?
This team defeated Private Party to become the AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Oh God. Okay, hold on. I should know this. Is it Top Flight?
Nope, not Top Flight.
Oh God, I'm not gonna know this. They beat they beat Private Party?
They were formerly in WWE prior to being in AEW.
I should know this. Oh my God.
I was thinking the guys saw the Ring of Honor tag titles.
It's not Big Bill and no, right? Is it the Kingdom?
Nope, not the Kingdom.
Crap. Okay, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
We're both
very embarrassing for you. I'm just like chilling now. I'm letting you sweat this.
I should okay, hold on. It's not the Young Bucks, so who could it be? Okay, hold on. Wait. Who's the current champion right now? I should know this.
It's not FTR.
No, it's not. It can't be.
Not. It can't be. Let's try to remember who all was in WWE.
Okay. We're gonna need like an extra hint here. We need a lifeline.
What does the names rhyme with?
Their manager was also in WWE and came over with them.
It's not okay. It's not Julie. No, it's not Julia Hart. Is it? No, she's not a manager. What am I? Oh my God, I'm like exposing my idiocy on.
AEW is a big blind spot for me, so this is all you gave.
It's not even AEW. It's just the AEW tag division. Like I know most of them. But just like...
I actually have 2 other questions, so I'll just give you the answer to this one.
All right, because we're gonna. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Please do. But they just put it in the comment section.
What did you say?
They just put it in the. What
did Saleh say?
No, it's in the chat. It showed up in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's the Hurt
we just
Syndicate.
figured it out. I feel so stupid now.
Why did you say it like rhymes with Schmerkschlager?
All right. This one I know one of you will get. This wrestler defeated Nia Jax to become the WWE Women's Champion.
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton is correct.
Every time.
And I believe Gabe got that first.
You said the full name. I just said it was Tiffy time.
Yeah.
It is Tiffy time, man. Good form, sir. Good form.
I have lost the respect of everybody for not figuring out the Hurt Locker.
I kept having Syndicate run through my head, but it's like now it's a Hurt Locker because it used to be Hurt Syndicate.
No, I think
and actually the answer
now, isn't it?
The answer I was given was Hurt Syndicate. So
yeah, they were the Hurt Business before.
Damn it!
Hurt Locker honestly sounds better, in my opinion.
It just hurts.
So see, even if you had just yelled out Syndicate, I would have took that.
I was like, Syndicate, why is Syndicate going through my head? Syndicate, why Syndicate? So just said something like that. No,
So Gabriel Arson has won the game show challenge.
good form, sir. Good form.
Thank you.
No.
Well, you might think it's good form, but I think the Wrestle Talk family has a little bit of a different view on that. And you know what their view is on it?
They're gonna rewatch that. They're gonna see that I said Tiffany before he said Tiffany Stratton. So a little gray area there. But I'll let you have that. I'll let you have it, Gabe.
Got him! Got him!
Oh man, that was awesome though.
You know, but we do appreciate you coming on, and I feel like we have just scratched the surface with you. There's just so much more that we could talk about, and like I say, we could be here all night long just talking wrestling, and it's just great to be talking with you. But I want to be the
exclusives. I mean, this was an interview and a half, and I still, like Haas said, I feel like we still got a lot more stories to hear about this, but just want to take the opportunity and say, dude, thank you for being on the show with us here tonight. I mean, the thing is too, like we're at about like 2.5 hours right now, and it felt like 2.5 minutes, but like in a good way, where it was like the time just flew by. And the funny thing is we're gonna have a lot of funny stories to tell about this in the future. So from everybody here,
we'll add more. Add more.
Absolutely.
I'd be honored to come back.
Yeah, so I want to be one of the first to welcome you to the Wrestle Talk Podcast family. We do consider each and every person here a member of our family, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. So, and we wouldn't be able to make it without you. But before we let you go, we want you to go ahead and shout out your socials, where people can find you. Susie's been asking where she can see some of your matches.
Mm-hmm.
My matches are with the Duke City Championship Wrestling YouTube channel for those who aren't able to watch it here locally. You can find me at For Sale 247. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, what else? Whatever, Tinder, Grindr, I don't know, wherever you need me to be, I'll be there. Follow me, I'll follow you. But I'm honored to share time. I just wanted to do another shout out to like the people that's helped me get back to where I'm at. I need to say thank you to Mosh Pit Mike. He's the one that helped me get a lot of the ring rust off, and I got love for him still. Also to the owners group of Duke City Championship Wrestling took a risk on me, and also who provided a space, with Fred Slow, Hobo Hank himself, Dr. Fernando Gonzalez, Aaron Buck Burnett, and then my family, from the ones who all have inspired me and continue to do so, from the original Polynesian Prince himself, from Uncle Joe to the Tasmanian Devil, Uncle Fred to Uncle Junior, Uncle Sam, Jacob, who's continuing leading the path of the guys in our generation, with the big Usos, Jonathan and Josh. I'm grateful, and then keep an eye on the young ones coming up. Little Penina Tulipea, as well as my little brother Zeke, aka the Samoan Reaper. Keep your eyes out for him. That kid, I believe he has something to show, something to share, something to do. I am grateful for any chance that I can share stories with. You can find me on, once again, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, at For Sale 247. Find me on Friendster, MySpace. Find me on everything, man. I'll be where you need me to be. Christian Finder, why not? I'll be there too. Muslim Finder, why not? I'm brown. I have a beard. I can pull that off too. So
Just before we forget, if we can, where can we see you next as far as your when we can expect you? Because I know we have.
So I have
coming up, so if we could just get a little bit of details on where they can try to check you out.
this Saturday in Albuquerque, we have Love Hurts. Duke City Championship Wrestling presents Love Hurts. That'll be in the historic, beautiful El Rey Theater. That's going to be a really, really intense night. I'm really looking forward to that. Pretty City Express going to go head to head with Turbo Test. The Renegade Ricky Rebel is going to regret ever looking at me, thinking about me. Zamaya and Jada Money Monroe and versus Natalia Markova and Hobo Hank. I want to say a shout out to our friends from NWA. The rise, witness the rise of Ronan against Happy the Clown, Mr. Happy. But once again, like a shout out to our friends from NWA who's been helping us out. But my family, Journey from Oasis Pro, thank you. My friends from Rising Star stunt team as well. It takes a village, man, and I'm here because I stand on the shoulders of and stand with other giants. So I'm here because those before me have made space for me, and I gladly look forward to sharing the tradition of making room for the others coming after me. That's my purpose.
All right,
Well,
and
like
hopefully you can click on them in the comments. There are the web addresses to all of his social, his Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, IMDb. It's all there.
Find me wherever you need me. This week, my episode of Matlock comes out. In a few weeks, I'm in the new SpongeBob movie. You'll recognize me in there. And there's also a new show coming out later this year. 2 new shows. You'll see me in there throughout. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, but also I'm holding space for the people after me. So,
well, I'll definitely be checking you out on Matlock. I've been watching all those episodes. So
much fun.
I want to take the opportunity to say we want to have you come back on the show. Is there any opportunity we can get somebody from the Wrestle Talk podcast to hop up on Matlock?
You know what? Anything's worth asking, and nothing's final till after it's done. So why not? If there is another season, I'll talk to them because I still exist in that world. They haven't killed me off yet. I don't think they haven't killing anyone yet, but I'm used to playing a bad guy that gets killed off. So
Yeah.
Even if they just, use a clip of the podcast or something in the background, hey, we'll
Goes
settle
a long
for
way.
anything.
that is good to know. That is good to know, actually. So I definitely will keep y'all in the loop.
So
My people call your people.
shout out to Herb Simmons. Great to see you checking in, Herb, a legend there as well. So, always
good
great
to
to
know.
have him. But yeah, so thank you very much. We really appreciate having you here. It's been great, and we look forward to having you come back sometime.
God willing, I'll be seeing y'all soon. Thank you.
So, Saleh Taylor, everybody.
Another episode in the books.
Yeah, what a great episode. I tell you, great interview. It was just a great show all around. And, we didn't even scratch the surface with him, I don't think. And, we didn't even scratch the surface on the randomizer questions.
But that's quality, though. Remember, take your time. We don't got to run through 20 questions if we're making it go an hour.
Exactly. So
That's the lesson here.
but before we get out of here, we definitely got to run through those sponsors one more time, and you want to shout those out.
Absolutely. As always, the Wrestle Talk podcast would like to thank our sponsors, including Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Production, head by one Big Daddy P, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Little Popeyes Designs. It's where you can get your Wrestle Talk podcast Tumblr, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. John Haas, one for all times, please.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear.
So, as I say, another great interview in the books, and we
just want to
definitely
say,
wouldn't be here.
close the show out. 40 viewers. Thank you all very much for sticking around for the show here tonight. We love to see it. We really do hope Kathy Bates is listening to us right now. We love you. No, but in all seriousness, this was a fantastic opportunity. We hope to catch you on episode 510 in the future. I believe that it's Luke and our good old friend, the maestro, Jeremy Karp, running the next one. But from Gabriel Arsen and Hardcore Haas, did we have anything else we had to cover here, Haas, before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it. Dewan was not able to make it tonight. Things happen, and just keep your eyes peeled. Let me tell you, we've got some more great surprise guests coming up, and you definitely aren't going to want to miss them. And we're not going to tip our hand quite yet. Just keep an eye on the page, and you'll see who's coming up as it gets closer. And some of the names we got coming, as a matter of fact, I believe one show we got coming up, I might have a hard time with that show because I think you might be marking out, Gabe.
The only way I know how, okay?
But we'll just leave it at that. We won't go much further with that quite yet. Don't want to spoil the surprise. But
from Hardcore Haas and Gabriel Arsen and the Wrestle Talk Podcast family, thank you for sticking with us. And as always, have a good night, and we love you.